Those in favour say aye. Aye. Those opposed say no. That's carried. Thank you. The Mayor's monthly report. I won't go through the points that I've already raised. I'll just note the Otakaro Avon River Corridor future governance. This is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to develop a co-governance model that reflects true partnership with Ngāi Tuhuriri and also the wider community. And that's this is following up on a resolution that was passed in November, so I do apologise for the delay, which I take full responsibility for. We have, in November 2020, we agreed that Ngāi Tuhuriri would be invited to partner with the Council to investigate and develop options for the co-governance entity. I guess with a number of issues, including Three Waters, it's been difficult to arrange times to move this issue along. We have now come to the point where we have commissioned preliminary advice from Chris Finlayson, and the next step is to feed this into a symposium under the auspices of the University of Canterbury, which we'd hoped to have earlier this year, but we'll have in about August, I'm expecting, and that I just want to get a small group of people together to work with Ngāi Tuhuriri and the University of Canterbury to develop a framework for that. I'm hoping to be back in a position to report back on this by the end of June, with the symposium to be held before the end of September, and then anticipate that that will then take us to a point where we can agree a recommended way forward by the end of this calendar year. I know that there's been some frustration around the time frame for all of this, and also perhaps there needs to be a better line of sight about the transfer of the land. We don't own all the land yet, and there are significant there's a significant amount of work yet to be done. I don't have a current update on that time frame, so I want us to get the time frame in front of the council, and I would expect to bring that back by the end of June, so that we can get some clarity about the way forward. I know that people want to see progress, and I certainly do as well. I just should tell you that I'm working in my office all day Saturday. We've got Open Christchurch happening this weekend. I don't know if people have been on the website. It is literally called Open Christchurch. .org, I think, something like that, and it's an excellent opportunity to get an inside view of some fabulous architecture, and it's getting to love our architecture, both old and new, and so I'm just going to be sitting up in the Mayor's Lounge, but I'm going to be working in my office in between visits from people who are going to call through and hopefully share an interest in a part of the building that people often don't get to see. The Unity and Diversity Dinner, which actually one of the community boards, I think, referred to, organised by the Bangladeshi Parents Group and Farid Ahmed, was amazing. It was a really good panel discussion on unity and diversity, and excellent, and I won't go into the other bits and pieces. The school strike for climate obviously has led to further discussions with Christchurch International Airport and the students, and we've got the Greater Christchurch Partnership, obviously looking at both the urban growth partnership with central government potential, Greater Christchurch 2050, and what we've all been waiting for, the Mass Rapid Transit indicative business case. So we've got a short progress update happening on that. I think we have another meeting tomorrow, so hopefully further advice will be coming in relation to where that's up to. So a relatively busy month, despite a number of weeks, statutory holidays during the period. So, I'll move the recommendation around receiving the report, agreeing a small working group, and that's just for the purpose of the symposium, and noting that we'll be in a position to recommend an approach by the end of the year. Seconded by Sarah. Any discussion? Mike? Oh, Yanni?
Just had a question on, in the interim, there's a number of decisions that are being made. Our board does have an outstanding action, unfortunately, where we're still waiting to get the advice back. And that was staff advice on decision-making processes on matters pertaining to residential red zone in the Otakaro Avon River Corridor Program, and also advice on how the community views are included in aspects of the detailed design of projects within the residential red zone and the Otakaro Avon River Corridor Program for bridges, road closures and cycleways. I know we've had a closed workshop where we've had some briefing, but is it possible to get something in the interim that explains how these decisions are being made and by whom, so the community can kind of understand?
Yeah. I mean, it was partly my problem too, that I can't tell you when the transfer of the land's going to happen. So there's Lynn's, there's our own input.
Bridges are happening now.
But the answer is that Mary will take that on board and will report.
Shall I email you through the community board thing so you can see what was asked for?
If you do that. But I think all councillors will want the answer to that question as well.
Yeah, because there are projects currently happening now. Yeah,
I know that there are current projects happening, but there's also lease agreements coming to an end, and so there's a lot of confusion, and largely around the timing of the transfers, that will be part of the issue.
And then just, I guess the other key thing to note is that this is by the end of the year, but if it can be done sooner, we will get it sooner, right? Yeah. Right.
Yes, absolutely. All right, Aaron?
Yeah, there was no mention of the disability hui in your report, which you spoke at and did the opening address. Did I miss that?
What date was that?
I don't know, it was in the last month.
Might have been in May.
Sorry, I haven't got it in the list of things that I did in that month.
Might be
Can you just tell me the date?
Not off the top of my head.
It might have been in May. This is April.
Well, no, maybe it was in April. Look, I do apologise if it's been left out of my diary.
That's all right.
For what I did over the month.
14th of April.
So good. I'll move the newsletter. No.
14th of April.
They can put it away.
It just shows someone's been.
I do apologise. It has been left out, can look, rather than me do it here, why don't I write it up as in the next newsletter and the next report, and I'll include reference to what some of the outcomes have been as well. Yeah, okay. Thank you for raising that. All right, I'll put the motion. All those in favour say aye. Aye. Those opposed say no. That's carried. Now, before opposed say no. That's carried. So I will now adjourn the meeting until 11:15. Thank you.